Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. A work program is planned for our Finland property that contains diamond-bearing kimberlite. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ADD, and the Frankfurt Exchange, symbol 82A1. Please visit our website at arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is John Rubino, author of several books on the economy, including The Money Bubble, his website, dollarcollapse.com. Welcome back to the show, John.
Hey, Jim.
Interesting to be on the sidelines here in Canada watching what looks like a de facto trade war between the U.S. and China. And, of course, Canada very concerned because we're very active trading partners with the U.S. and very active with China as well.
Yeah. You know, it's an interconnected world, so stuff like this is threatening to just about everybody. From the U.S. point of view, this is Trump keeping a campaign promise. You know, his major constituency is people who are threatened by free trade, who have seen their factory jobs move overseas, and who are threatened by, or perceived themselves to be threatened by, immigration. So those are two things he's been going after fairly aggressively. And so the whole U.S.-China thing should be seen through that lens. You know, Trump has things he needs to deliver for the people who voted for him. And one of those things is a smaller trade deficit with China. In other words, we need to be making some of that stuff here. And one way to make that happen is either just to stop buying it from China or to talk China into bringing their factories here. And, setting up a TV plant in Tennessee or whatever. And in that way, creating a lot of jobs that Trump can point to in the next election campaign as tangible results of his policies that Obama didn't deliver and Clinton wouldn't have delivered and Bernie Sanders would never deliver. You know, that's the kind of thing he wants to be able to say on the campaign trail. So he needs this tangible stuff. So you're right, they will negotiate a deal that avoids a trade war, because China doesn't want a trade war, and Trump doesn't need one. What he needs is tangible results that China can totally deliver. You know, they can set up factories here. They're building lots of factories. Some of them could be here. So I don't think this turns into a catalyst for a crisis, although I think, a financial crisis is coming because we borrowed way too much money, and we got to work that out somehow. So it's possible that trade tension will be part of the mix when everything blows up. But, in a completely harmonious world of free trade agreements where everybody gets along and there's no argument, we're still going to blow up. This won't save us and it won't doom us. It's just, one more piece of noise in a very, very noisy, scary time.
When you have this kind of noise, though, look what it's doing to the stock markets. Nobody knows whether they should sell, hold on, buy. Yeah. Volatility is a normal feature of a market top. Stocks go up and up and up and up, and then they start bouncing around because, as you said, people can't figure it out. They don't know whether they should keep buying those dips or sell the rips, as they say. When something pops, take your profits. And so you've got these two mindsets at war right now, where the stock market jumps, people sell it. It tanks, people buy, different groups of people. And one or the other will win at some point. And the stock market will either take off for new highs or tank. In 2008, it tanked. We had huge volatility in 2007 and early 2008. And then the market just fell off the table. I think that's completely possible now based on valuations. Everything's really expensive. So just to get back to historically normal valuation levels, you need a 50% drop in a lot of big stocks. And that would give us a very scary bear market. But, just based on valuation, that's what we should have going forward. Now, arguing against that is the fact that all these central banks are out there doing totally irrational experimental stuff with unlimited amounts of money. And some of those things might be to buy equities at some point and push the market up artificially. Because, if you've got an unlimited credit card, you don't care what you're paying for stuff, right? You can buy stuff, and then when it goes up, you can buy more of it, and when it goes up, you can buy even more. And central banks kind of act that way with their taxpayers' money. And there's no reason to think it won't happen again.
We'll have more with John Rubino right after the break.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
I'm Greg Johnston, CEO of Carl Data Solutions, an industrial Internet of Things company that provides big data solutions for monitoring critical infrastructure. Carl Data offers machine learning and predictive analytics features through our cloud-based applications to deliver key asset-saving operational insights from massive amounts of data. Carl Data trades on the CSE symbol CRL and the pink symbol CDTAF. For more details on Carl Data, please visit carlsolutions.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Rubino. John, with alleged Syrian chemical weapon use again, does Syria play into the stock market game at all?
Yeah, war is terrible for equities, at least at first. And we're kind of blundering into something over here, and we have been for quite a while. This is something that started under the Obama administration, and then Russia got into it, and now we've got American and Russian soldiers on different sides of this conflict. There's more than two sides, but the Russians are on the side of the government, and the U.S. is on the side of the rebels trying to take down the government. And so we are kind of sort of shooting at each other now. We're in real danger of killing Russians, and they're in danger of killing Americans. And now Israel is being accused of bombing a Syrian military base. And they wouldn't have done that without our tacit go-ahead. So it could be that Israel now is being used as a proxy by the United States to achieve their goals, which is just terrifying on a lot of different levels. So this is the kind of thing that could easily turn into something a lot more serious. Instead of just some little proxy war in a place that most Americans can't find on a map and really don't care about, it could be a shooting war between superpowers. And that everybody in the world should be absolutely terrified by that prospect. So hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully, we all figure out that it shouldn't happen and don't let it happen. But right now we're kind of blundering in that direction. And, as the father of two draft-age sons, I hate this personally, but, as somebody who cares about the fate of the world, I hate it in a much more general, but just a serious sense. We could do immense amounts of damage with the weapons that we have now. And the next generation of weapons are orders of magnitude scarier than the ones we have now, if you can believe that. So I think war is becoming unimaginable for reasonable people. And it's almost like it's a game for the neocons in the U.S. We've got guys, a lot of them within the government, who think this is fun, who think this is a game that we're playing for empire building. They want to humble all the rest of the countries in the world and then just do what we feel like going forward without really grasping that, we're deeply in debt. We're 5% of the world's population. And the only way that we can rule the world, the way that the U.S. can rule the world is if everybody else is dirt poor and unable to defend themselves. That's not a very good world, So there's really nothing about the neocon worldview that I like, and a lot that really scares me. And they're the guys who are calling the shots to an extent right now. So I think we should all be worried about where this goes.
We'll have more with John Rubino right after this.
I'm Bill McWilliam, president of Cascadero Copper, CCD on the TSX Venture Exchange. Cesium is one of the world's rarest metals with a growing industrial demand. Drilling is underway on our Tehran property in Argentina to prove up a cesium resource. Cascadero's patent-pending leach process has the potential to make Cascadero the lowest cost supplier of cesium in the world. Visit our website, cascadero.com, or phone us at 604-924-5504.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Rubino. John, with so much conflict going on and the equity markets in question, why haven't gold and silver really popped?
That's a good question. They should, given all the money that's being created out there. The gap between the amount of paper that exists in the world now and the amount of gold and silver keeps widening. A lot of people have done the math to figure out what kind of a gold price it would take to balance out the paper in the world. And it's something like $10,000 an ounce U.S. right now. And that, which is what would allow us to, for instance, go back to a gold-backed currency with maybe 40% gold backing, which is comparable to what we had during the classical gold standard and the years after World War II for a while. Now, the gap keeps getting bigger, even though it's already huge. So the longer this goes on, the higher that gold will have to go in order to balance things out when we finally have the reset that is inevitable. Now, silver will be pulled along with gold, only it'll probably go up faster because silver is this tiny little market. You know, it's really minuscule in terms of the amount of, for instance, treasury bonds that are out there, or money market funds, or mutual funds. You know, if a little tiny bit of the investable cash that's now in the world flowed into silver, silver would act like Bitcoin. You know, it would go up by orders of magnitude, not just by percentage points. And that could happen. That could happen very easily because we're creating the conditions in which really extreme stuff starts to happen as people realize this system doesn't work. Right now, people basically think the financial system is okay. You know, they look around, they can borrow money cheaply, their stocks are up, their house is up, they feel reasonably smart and don't see any reason to question things. When some of that stuff stops happening, when stocks go down or house prices go down or bond funds start blowing up, or, you know, name the thing that shakes the confidence of people in their financial system, then that'll really snowball. And when it snowballs, the amount of paper that's out there that could panic and flow into real things like precious metals is absolutely immense. So there will come a time when that happens. I don't know whether it's next year, 5 years from now, or whatever, but we're creating the conditions for it to happen. And, you know, the things that should happen in financial senses tend to happen. You know, when enough snow falls on the side of a mountain, you have to get an avalanche at some point because all that snow has to go somewhere. It can't just sit there forever. And it develops some cracks, and then the avalanche happens. Same thing in finance. You know, you create too big of an imbalance, and then something happens to restore balance. Well, we're creating immense imbalances all around the financial world, and there's no doubt that those imbalances will be rectified at some point, and that'll happen by a crisis in the bond market, or a huge bear market in stocks, or some other kind of financial crisis. And, you know, eventually it'll be a currency crisis where nobody wants to hold these currencies anymore because they're being mismanaged so blatantly and so obviously. And then we'll get that final crack-up boom, you know, the thing that gold bugs have been waiting for a really long time. It never seems to come, but eventually it will come.
What's your view on cryptocurrencies right now? Just looking at this chart at the value of Bitcoin, it's down at what it cost in July 2014.
Yeah, Bitcoin had a huge run, a really epic run. That was, according to some measures,
the best run any financial asset has ever had in history. So it's easy to believe that a pretty big retracement was in the cards, and that's what we got. So now the question becomes, is it getting ready to bottom and take off again? Or is there some fundamental thing going on with cryptocurrencies in general, or Bitcoin in particular, that will send it lower? And we don't really have a whole lot of history to draw on. There's no PE ratio or anything like that in the cryptocurrency world that allows you to look at that and say, okay, now it's undervalued. Before it was overvalued, now it's cheap. So it's really hard to say. One of the things that's happening lately is that governments are starting to get serious about regulating cryptocurrencies because they've finally perceived the threat that cryptocurrencies represent to fiat currencies. It's a very big deal. If the whole world decides they want to use Bitcoin instead of dollars, that's catastrophic for the guys who make dollars. So they won't let that happen. And so we're seeing governments respond to cryptocurrencies in some pretty coercive ways. And that's forcing down the price of cryptocurrencies. One of the big things in the cryptocurrency space is that it's a taxable commodity. That's how the U.S. IRS treats it. So every time you buy or sell Bitcoin, you've created a taxable event that you have to account for. And there are stories of people out there who owe $50,000 in taxes because of their Bitcoin trading. But now that the price is way back down, they don't have $50,000 anymore, and so they're trying to figure out what to do. And there is nothing they can do except give the IRS the money. That's turning a lot of people off cryptocurrencies. So, I wish I had an up or down answer for you. I don't. I think the blockchain is an interesting piece of technology that has a lot of applications out there. And it's possible that some cryptocurrencies in the future will become big, serious players alongside the euro and the yen, and gold and silver. But I don't know, which and when and under what terms. It's just hard to say how all this works out. So, and I've been saying this all along. I just don't understand the dynamic here. This is unprecedented, and it's interesting, but it's not something that I find predictable in any way. It's just fun to watch.
Well, too, it's not based on any real wealth. You're not buying anything at all.
No, well, you can buy stuff with Bitcoin, but yeah, it's right now it's mostly used as an asset that you put away and wait for it to go up in price. Eventually, it'll be possible to transact in cryptocurrencies. But still, the whole taxable event thing, this is tricky because if it's a commodity and every single time you buy something with it, you've in effect sold a commodity for a loss or a gain, that's an accounting nightmare. And if governments want to treat it as a commodity, that limits cryptocurrency's usefulness as a transaction mechanism. So I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But a lot of countries are starting their own cryptocurrencies, and it's possible that that once a cryptocurrency is legal tender within a country, that the others become de facto illegal. Because then it's counterfeiting, right? If you try to make something that's like the currency of the country and tell people it's money, that's against the law in the U.S. If you go around with silver coins and say that they're U.S. money, they can put you in jail for that. So it's possible that cryptocurrencies are going to run afoul of that same kind of dynamic. But again, who knows?
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today?
No, I think we covered the big stuff. I think in a couple of weeks there will be more big things to talk about. But right now, trade policy and stock fluctuations are the two big things, and then geopolitics and cryptocurrencies are, hopefully not too damaging, but interesting things that are going on.
John, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
My guest has been John Rubino, author of several books on the economy, including The Money Bubble, his website, dollarcollapse.com. If you have any questions for John or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at talkdigitalnetwork.com. HowStreet.com Radio is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.